All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about Kwame Nkrumah, one of the most important and honestly one of the most controversial leaders of the 20th century. This is a story about a revolutionary who freed his nation, a visionary who dreamt of a united Africa, and a ruler whose methods are still fiercely debated to this day.
And this quote, wow, it just says it all, doesn't it? Right from the very beginning, you can see the sheer scale of his ambition. For Nkrumah, freeing Ghana wasn't the finish line, not even close. It was just the first domino in a much, much bigger plan for the entire continent.
So, to really get a handle on the man and his mission, we've got to rewind a bit. We need to look at the ideas and the experiences that shaped him long before he became a world figure.
You can see this incredible journey play out right here. He leaves his home as a subject of the British Empire, but his time in the US and in Britain, it completely changes him. He's soaking up all these new ideas about freedom, about racial justice, and the global fight against colonialism. So by the time he gets back home in 47, he's not just some teacher. No, he is a full-blown revolutionary with a very clear plan. And this right here, this was the engine driving everything for him. Pan-Africanism wasn't some abstract political theory for Nkrumah. It was his North Star. He truly believed that on their own, new African nations would be weak. They'd be easy to exploit. But a united Africa, what he called a United States of Africa, now that could be a real global superpower.
Okay, so he's got these huge, world-changing ideas. Now what? Well, let's look at how he put them into practice. Because when Nkrumah returned to the Gold Coast, he didn't just join the independence movement, he completely transformed it from a slow, quiet debate into a massive grassroots movement.
You have to imagine the energy. The leaders before him talked about independence maybe someday, in the distant future. Nkrumah comes on the scene, and his message is urgent, it's simple, and it's powerful. Self-government and self-government now. And that message just caught fire. It connected with absolutely everyone, and he quickly became the undeniable face of the movement.
And here's the brilliant part. He didn't just fire people up with speeches. He gave them a playbook. This positive action strategy, which was inspired by Gandhi's work in India, was a clear, non-violent plan to bring the colonial government to a standstill. It gave everyday people real power to fight for their own freedom.
And the result of that strategy? This. March 6, 1957, the Gold Coast becomes the independent nation of Ghana. And this was huge. It was the very first sub-Saharan African country to win its freedom from a colonial power. This moment sent a shockwave of hope across the entire continent.
But, winning freedom is one thing. Actually building a new nation from scratch, that's a whole different ballgame. And it's in this next chapter that the story gets, well, really complicated. This is where we see the central tension of Nkrumah's legacy start to emerge.
Just look at this. It's like you're looking at two totally different rulers, right? On one side, you have Nkrumah the builder, the visionary, launching these incredible projects for his people. And on the other side, you have Nkrumah the autocrat, who is systematically crushing his opposition and grabbing more and more power. He was both of these things at the very same time.
I mean, his vision for Ghana was just immense. He wasn't just building a dam, he was trying to power a whole industrial revolution. He wasn't just building schools, he was trying to educate an entire generation to lead a new Africa. He was building the literal foundations of a modern country.
But, and this is a huge but, at the exact same time he was building all of that, he was also taking freedoms away. He passed laws like this one, the Preventative Detention Act, that let him lock up his political opponents for years with no trial. I mean, think about that. The man who fought so hard for freedom was now taking it away from his own people.
And this was it. This was the final step. The multi-party democracy that was born in 1957 was now gone. In its place, you had a state with no legal opposition and Nkrumah at the top with absolute authority as president for life.
So where does that leave us? How are we supposed to make sense of a figure this complex, especially after his government comes crashing down? Was he a hero, a visionary, a tyrant, or somehow all of the above? And just like that, his rule was over. The irony is just staggering. He was on a peace mission to Vietnam when he was overthrown in a military coup back home. He was forced into exile and would never, ever step foot in Ghana again. It was such a lonely end for a man who was once celebrated by millions.
So why are we still talking about him all these decades later? Because his legacy is this incredible, messy mix of massive achievement and really stark warnings. He is, without a doubt, a hero of African liberation. Many of his big projects are still powering Ghana today. But he's also a powerful, powerful cautionary tale about how even the best intentions can go wrong when absolute power is involved. And I think this quote really gets to the very soul of the man. For him, being African wasn't just about geography. It was his entire identity. It was this all-consuming continental vision that fueled both his greatest achievements and his biggest failures. And that leaves us with this central, really challenging question, doesn't it? It's a question with no easy answers. It's that timeless problem of whether the ends justify the means. And it's exactly why the complex story of Kwame Nkrumah is still so incredibly relevant and important for us to understand today.